Welcome back, everyone. This is Mondo all day, back to the video. And in this video, I'll be doing an overview of Steel. This is going to be from the reign of the Superman, or Superman I should say, excuse me. This is from, I know it's from a storyline, but I've seen the actual animated film, so you might want to check that out. It's actually pretty darn cool. As always, I'll be talking about the figure itself in terms of the articulation, sculpture, and paint, and if it's worth your purchase or not. Before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button to not support channel, but to keep up to date and watch videos like this. So let's take a look at front of the box. This side, the back, which the box is pretty beat up. You can see right there that crease, which is fine because I was going to open it anyways. The other side, top and bottom. And as you can see right here, Target did put the sticker on here, which is fine though, but it's all good. Alright, now let's take a look at the figure outside the box. As always, it do come with a card. This is the front of the card looks like for Steel. The back of the card. And it does come with this hammer, steel hammer. Look at this. It's pretty darn cool. It is long. I do like that paint. It's very consistent with obviously the paint on the figure, which I'll show in a bit, but it does have that blue markings on it, and of course that gray paint. There's the handle, and there's the bottom of it. Again, still has that kind of like bluish paint on there. You can see I'm referring to. Now, the problem with this, it is very, very, very flimsy, and I'll see if I can find some images of this particular hammer because I've seen some people post about how this thing is really warped. I mean, there was actually a meme. See if I can find it, but there's a meme on there where someone made a meme and it was literally like this, and someone made a meme saying something about like Viagra or something like that. I don't know. I'll see if I can find it. If not, it's unfortunate. But anyways, keep that in mind when you do get this figure because I've seen some of them that are warped pretty darn bad. Mine isn't too bad, but just letting you know. So keep an eye on that. It does come with a puck stand that he's on, and that's pretty much it. Let's talk about the articulation on this figure. So, head, left, right, up, down, and then shoulder articulation. It does hit right here, keep that in mind. Bicep, elbow, wrist, not the greatest wrist because it does hit right there, but it's fine. Torso, it's okay. I don't think there's swivel, but I don't know if the lower abdomen does twist. Let me know in the comment section if yours twists. If you have this figure, if yours twists, because mine looks like it doesn't. I could be wrong. I don't want to break it, but let me know if you guys have this figure. Let me know if this actual portion of the abdomen does articulate or swivel. I'll do leg, which is not the greatest for some reason. Knees, ankles, come on ankles. I know they articulate, they're a bit stiff right now. Oh, and toes as well. So overall, the articulation on this figure, it's good. It's just, I don't know if my lower abdomen, I can't really twist it because it's very, very stiff. But something about the legs, it's not really that well articulate. It's like it hits right here, and that's that. So again, let me know. Maybe it's just my figure. But anyways, now let's talk about the actual figure itself. Right away, this headpiece, it's a great looking headpiece. You got the painted white eyes. You know me, I'm a sucker for white eyes. You got that grin on his face. Of course, the base paint's gonna be that grayish kind of paint to it. And then you have the blue markings on there. And I do like this little bolts on here. Not bolts, but whatever this color here. I actually like that. It's very textured. You can actually feel it, which looks pretty cool. And I also noticed too the paint around the cheeks and the nose. It's like a more lighter gray paint. So the base paint is going to be a gray, but if you notice cheek and a little bit of the forehead, it's going to be like a little bit of a lighter silver, which I actually like that. Little details like that, I think it makes the headpiece stand out. And there's the ears as well too, and I'll show you the back of it as well. You can see that right there. And so the headpiece, I think it looks really, really nice, really solid. And again, that blue paint, similar to the actual hammer, you're also going to see it right here on the headpiece, that blue markings on it. So this headpiece looks really, really solid. Then you have the arms, then you have the shoulder piece on here, the shoulder armor. A lot of detail. Got the gray base paint, and of course that blue markings on there, which looks pretty cool. And you have here the big old shoulder, the bicep, the tricep, very, very muscle tone. Then you got the forearm, which I have no idea what that's supposed to be. But it looks cool, though. Just weird looking. And the gray paint on here is different than here on the body. So this is more like a matte gray. This is more of, you can see there perfectly, a little bit more shiny to it. But it does have that blue paint and some white marks on it, too. Then you got the hand on there. Open hand. More blue paint on there. You can see what I mean perfectly when I say gray. Look at the gray here on the hand, and look at the gray here on the forearm. See that? So it's a little different. It's not a bad thing or anything. And the opposite side, it's going to be the same thing. Just the hand's going to be different. You can see there, this is going to be the hand where you can put this hammer. And then you have the Steel logo or Superman logo. Really, really big. But I noticed, though, this here, it's like a brush paint on it. Like, literally, someone got a brush and just started painting it white. So, I'm not too sure this is how it looks like in the comics. I don't think so. But it looks cool, but it also looks like, I don't know, it just has this weird look to it. It's not bad. It's just kind of, I don't know. Maybe this is, like, early on Steel of him, like, assembling his suit. So, it kind of, he just had to paint it with, like, a brush paint, but it looks cool. Then you have the matte gray underneath. Then you got the really defined abdomen, and also the abdomens are a little bit awkward, kind of sideways, which I'm sure I can fix it with hot water. Then you have the cape. The cape is really, really nice. It shines very nice and red. You can see that perfectly. Nothing underneath the cape. And let's take a look at the back as well, too. The back is just going to be muscle tone, more of that gray paint, base paint, I should say, and then that blue marks on the back of the figure. And really defined abdomen. And also, too, on his right forearm, it doesn't have the armor piece, so it's a little different. So, this forearm has this weird, I don't know what it is, to be honest with you. But then this side, it's going to be a little bit different. So, little detail like that, something that I noticed right now. And then the shoulder piece on here, on this side, it looks like it's going to be, it looks like it's identical shoulder pieces. And so, overall, the upper body on this figure, I think it looks good. To me, it's not great. It's not, I don't know, the Superman logo, the whole brush paint, it just throws me off, because in the picture, it makes it seem like it's just one big piece, right? It's all one solid, like, steel, no pun intended, and it actually looks cool and it stands out. This, it just looks like, I don't know, I feel like they were trying to do one certain image, but it didn't come out, or certain paint, but it didn't come out right, so they just said, you know what, screw it, just paint this, the S, just grab paint and just paint it cream color, boom, and this is what you got. So, it's a standout because it's there, I mean, it's huge, it's center, right in the middle of his chest, and so it's really, really big, so you can't really miss it. So, to me, that S, it's, I don't know, when everything of Steel, and I see him in the comics, it's like this, see what I mean, and then you have this, so it's like, not a deal breaker, but it's something that I noticed. But apart from that, though, I think the figure itself looks really solid. I like it. I do like the base paint. The blue paint on the upper body looks good with the headpiece. I like that two-tone paint. Little details like that is why I like McFarlane. So there is that. Let's take a look at the belt. Same thing with the S paint. It's also going to be present here on the actual belt. Got that brush paint. Let me know in the comment section if you're familiar with Steel. Like, why is it like brush paint? It was like early on when he created this suit, but it does have that brush white paint on it, and of course the actual what do you call it? Painted underwear. The underwear paint is different from the body, so it's more gray. This is like a grayish-ish with like a glossy paint. This is just a little bit more matte. Not a huge difference, but there's some. Take a look at the back. Utility belt. Not much to it. Just blue paint. Does he do squats? Yes, he does. He does squats. Not as well as Bat Zorro, but he does. You got that blue paint on it. Then you got the back of the legs, the hamstrings. Then you got the back of the boot, which looks nice. I do like this paint on the actual boot itself. It kind of has this like rusted metal look to it. Very, let's see if my camera can pick it up. There you go. You can see that right there. It has this kind of rusted paint to it. Obviously, it's not, but you get what I'm saying. And there's the side of the boot. You can see perfectly clear what I mean. Like a rusted, like metal, dirty metal look to it. It actually looks really, really nice. Then you got the feet on there. And then the front of the boot or the shin. Again, more of that blue paint, but also that rusty paint. I like that. Something about it, like little paint like that, it just makes it pop more. And it looks much better in my opinion. And then you have the feet. And then you got really defined legs. You got the thighs on there. And more of that blue paint is going to be here as well too on the lower body. And so overall, this particular figure, and I say this because there's two versions of this figure. There's this one and there's going to be a platinum, which I'll have an image to the right. And so I honestly prefer this one because of that red cape. Because with that red cape, it just stands out a lot more. Now, I say that now. Maybe when I see the platinum one in person, if I ever see one, I might be convinced and get the platinum one. Or prefer the platinum one. But to me, so far from what I've seen images online and having this one on hand, I prefer this one over the platinum. But overall, it's a good looking figure. The headpiece looks good. The body looks good. This whole weird thing, it's not bad. It's just kind of like, what is it? But to me, it's just the S. Once I see that brush paint, I just can't unsee it. Again, it's not bad. It's just like, why is it like that? Why can't it just be like a shiny gray paint or something different than just a brush paint to it? So it is what it is though. But overall, I gotta say it's a good looking figure. So I'm really digging it. I'm glad we got Steel figure. And hopefully we get more Superman-esque figures down the line. Of course, the main question is it really worth it? Should you go out and get this figure? So for the price of what you're paying for $20, honestly, yeah, I think $20 is a good deal. It's not great or anything. I think it's good. I say good because you do have various paint on the figure. You get a new headpiece, some new molds here and there, and it's just a good, solid looking figure. I know I have my grabs on it for the S, but anyways, and so for $20 for what you're paying, yeah, I think it's a good deal. Apart from the price, so what I think about the actual figure itself, as mentioned, I like the figure. The thing that I just can't unsee is going to be the S paint. I don't know why, but once I see it, it's just the brush paint. It just looks kind of cheap. But apart from that, though, everything else, it's solid. It looks good. It looks clean. I do like the whole blue paint around. And I like how it's consistent with the hammer. So at least there's consistency with that. So overall, what do I give this particular figure? I give this figure a thumbs up for me. I think it's a solid figure. And again, for $20, can't go wrong with it. Of course, if you are a Superman fan, I'm pretty sure you got one. And so for $20, I would say, yeah, get it. I would probably wait for a sale because I have a feeling this might go on sale because even though it's a figure right now, it's really, really hyped up because we haven't gotten a Steel figure before. I have a feeling this might be one of those figures that over time, you might get it for like maybe $15. But again, for $20, I think it's good. If you can get it for cheaper, even better. Here we have Steel next to Target exclusive gold label Supergirl. Great looking figure. The whole cloth cape, I'm mixed with it. I kind of like it, but at the same time I don't. I do like how sometimes some of these capes, they are like very stylized. And so I'm kind of torn between it. But nonetheless, here we have Supergirl next to Steel. Here we have Superboy next to Steel. I don't know why, whenever I think of Superboy, I don't really think of this version. I always think of Superboy with like that blue jeans and a black shirt. I'll have an image somewhere to the right, you can see what I mean, or in the center. Which version of Superboy when I think of him, but hopefully we get one of those figures. But anyways, great looking figure. As I mentioned, this is a solid looking figure. And again, for $20 for what you're getting, how it looks, you can't beat that. So once again, here we have Steel next to, well, Superboy. Here we have Jonathan Kent from the, I believe is Future State era, I believe, or Infinite Frontiers era from DC Comics. And of course, Steel. Again, I like this figure. It's just the story behind it. Anyways, so here we have two different Superman figures. And again, something about the Superman logo. Like, once you see the other Superman logos, and you look at this one, you're like, why does Steel look kind of cheap? Like, something about that Superman logo just looks, it looks cheap. I don't know. Maybe it's just mine. Leave it in the comment section if you guys know what I'm talking about. how the paint on the Superman Steel logo just looks kind of ugh. Here we have Eradicator. It's going to be the gold label exclusive, and of course Steel. Now, as I mentioned regarding the cape, I mean, look at this cape, which is fine, right? Nothing to it. But then you look at this cape, you see what I mean? Like, I kind of like cloth because you can customize it and you can have it however you want it to be. But sometimes when McFarlane does capes, he goes over the top, and it can look very well. Like this one, it can just look at all that. It's so much animated, but it just pops and it looks very, very well. It's one of those like capes, when you see it in person, you're like, dude, this is a cool looking figure, right? With that cape. Then you look at something like this, it's not bad, it's just kind of plain. So, I don't know, maybe it's just me. Here we have Superman. This is going to be Superman, the Collector's Edition, the really juiced up or buffed out or gym rat Superman next to Steel. I mean, if you thought this was muscle tone, just look at all those muscles. I mean, it's one of those figures where it's ridiculously over the top. I mean, just look at the size of them, the muscles, right? And then you had the mullet. It's one of those figures was like, really, like, who would make this? But then you realize it's McFarlane. This is something McFarlane would do. He made it. And honestly, I'm starting to like this more and more and more. The more I look at the Superman figures, I'm just like, this thing is ridiculous. But it also looks really, really cool. So, maybe it's just me. Here we have Doomsday. This is going to be Doomsday from the 2-pack. I believe it's Target exclusive. It came with Superman or Damaged Superman. And of course, it's going to be from the Death of Superman storyline. I mean, I like the figure. I think it's really cool mega fig. Yes, it is a reuse from some parts from other figure, which I believe is like the Batman or Dark Knight's Metal one. I always forget his name, but you know what I'm talking about. I'll have an image somewhere to the left. You see what I mean? But it is reuse of some parts to it. And I believe some parts from the Bane mega fig. But I gotta admit though, I think it looks really cool. It's a stand-up because of the green paint. And again, I just think it looks cool. And of course, having a mega size fig, I think it pops. And of course, Steel. I mean, just look at the size difference. I think it's a good looking figure. It's just the joint is going to be the big issue. And for mine, yes, the joints are very, very loose. I did add some loose joint kind of liquid to mix it solid. It did help out, but still, it still has some issues with the joints. But nonetheless, here we have Doomsday 2-pack next to, well, Steel. Let me know what you guys think. Do you have this Green Meetings figure? Do you plan to purchase this figure? Leave it in the comment section below. As always, make sure you hit the subscribe button to now support the channel, to keep up to date and watch videos like this. This includes an overview of Steel from the Reign of the Superman storyline. And on to the next one.